My mother-in-law sleeps between us. My name is Amy. I'm 30. If a year ago someone had told me I'd be writing on Reddit about how my mother-in-law sleeps between me and my husband, opens my underwear drawers, and whispers to me in the hallway, "Don't seduce my son," I would have laughed and decided they'd watched too many cheap dramas. I was sure I had a normal, grown-up, loving family. I was wrong. When I met Jason, he was a man out of a movie. Real. He held doors, checked if I was cold, went shopping for candles with me even though he hates scents. He sent me voice notes at 6:30 a.m. "Good morning, we've got this day, I'm proud of you." He remembered every little thing, how I take my coffee, oat milk, no syrups, how I wince at harsh light, how I get a headache if I skip lunch. He quoted my own lines back to make me laugh. He was attentive, gentle, exactly how parents and friends want him to be, and I thought I'd gotten lucky. He proposed on the shore of Lake Michigan at the end of September. We were freezing, but he insisted we step out for some air, and I grumbled until he took out the box. His hand shook, and he said not the perfect line, but the most honest one. "I still can't believe you agreed to put up with me, but if you'll also agree to marry me, I promise to prove every day that you didn't make a mistake." I cried. The people around us clapped. I thought, this is it. Calm, home, adulthood. The wedding was small and sweet. I remember his mom, Carol, taking my hand and saying, "Welcome to the family." She held my hand a little longer than necessary and, without letting go, stroked my finger with her thumb, as if trying it on. I decided then, she's nervous, understandable. I really wanted to believe the best. After the wedding, Jason was laid off. It wasn't his fault. The department closed, he got severance, but in his field, he's a project manager. You don't land a job in a week. My nursing job barely carried the two of us. We were apartment hunting. Everything was just a bit over our ceiling. Then Jason's parents offered that we temporarily move in with them until everything's back on track. "A couple of months," Carol said. "We'll even give you the whole second floor. It's almost like a separate apartment," his stepfather added. I hesitated. I could feel it. Living with parents means becoming a teenager for real. But Jason assured me, "Mom will be happy to help, and then we'll move out." It's not for long. He said it lightly, confidently, like he had a clear route out. I believed him. We moved 6 boxes and 2 suitcases. I even felt happy. So, few things, life is easy. The first week was sweet. Carol cooked dinners, left folded towels and scented pillows on the bed, brought fresh sheets, so you'll be cozy. She asked how she could help, offered her contacts at a local clinic. I thanked her. We ate together, laughed, reminisced about our wedding. Only I kept feeling like I was on stage, like someone was watching how I held a fork, which words I chose, how I looked at my husband. Then the little oddities began. The door to our room turned out to be shared. Carol walked in without knocking. First, to say good morning, then, to ask what to cook. Then, to leave fresh towels. I gently said, "Carol, please knock." She smiled too widely. "Oh, honey, I'm like a mom to you. We're all family here." And still walked in twice more that same day. One evening I was changing. Door closed, music low. I took a new thong out of the drawer. I'd been saving the pretty lingerie for later, for special days. The door flew open and Carol just came in. She saw me, stopped, looked me over. It wasn't the look of a woman who'd accidentally seen someone half naked. It was an inspector's gaze. "You must not wear that in my house," she said evenly. Still holding the underwear, I asked, "Why?" "Because men are animals," she answered quietly without blinking. "Especially my son." She paused and added, "Don't seduce him with that. He's impressionable. And don't close the doors at night. In decent homes, when spouses go to bed, doors stay open. So there's no secrecy about things there shouldn't be secrecy about." Inside, everything collapsed. I mumbled, "He's my husband." And she gave a plaintive smile, "My boy." Then turned and left as if delivering a verdict. I told Jason. He hugged me and said what I think many say. "You're taking it too personally. Mom's old-fashioned. She phrases things weirdly, but she means no harm. Let's just ignore it." He was warm. He stroked my hair while he said it, and I felt better. I tried to believe him. 2 days later, I found my thong on the bed. Next to it, a note written in round, perfect handwriting on a flowery notepad page. "Don't wear this. You excite my son." I held that paper like a wet rag, not knowing whether to laugh or scream. I went to Jason with the note. He paled, and then I saw him literally swallow his reaction, said, "This is very weird. I'll talk to her." And he did. I heard muffled voices from the kitchen. Carol whispered something back, then louder. "I'm protecting his marriage. You should be grateful." That evening, she brought us a blanket and said, "I love you both." But her eyes were colder than ice. That night, I woke for the first time because someone touched my leg. I opened my eyes and saw a silhouette. Carol. She stood at the edge of the bed and watched us. I screamed. She didn't flinch. "I wanted to wish you good night." "Carol, please leave." I tried to keep my voice steady. She slowly, like a hurt child, sat on the edge of the bed, then lay across it, resting her head on her son's pillow. He woke up, and instead of getting up and showing her out, patted her shoulder. "Mom, go, we're sleeping." She sighed as if after hard work and left. I lay there clawed into the mattress like a bird, unable to close my eyes till morning. Jason said the next day, "I'll handle it." And I believed again. I tried not to flinch when she took only my things out of the washer and sorted them, commenting, "That's for girls who don't respect themselves." I calmed myself when she opened my cosmetics case and counted the jars, asking, "Is that safe for pregnant women?" when I wasn't pregnant yet. I looked away when she pulled his shirts from the closet and ironed over my iron-in, whispering, "I know better what he lacks. We've lived a life together." And then I got pregnant. I saw 2 lines. I sat on the edge of the tub laughing and crying at once, wanting so badly to call my mom. But my mom's been gone 7 years, and the only person I told was my husband. He picked me up, spun me around, and we both shouted, "Oh my God," and it was pure happiness. He cried. In that moment, he was the Jason I love. Carol found out a couple of days later. We wanted to tell her together, but she walked into our room without knocking. As always, right when I was looking at the HCG results on my phone. She saw the numbers, jerked her gaze to me, and screamed like she'd been hit. I'm going to have a baby. She rushed to her son and pressed her face to his chest. My boy will be a daddy, she whispered. She did not hug me. Then she looked up at me. You'll let me choose the name, of course. In our family, girls are named after grandmothers. I swallowed and said Jason and I would decide ourselves. So after me, she said, missing the point, and smiled as if the decision had already been made. From that day, her control became total. She set timers in my kitchen. Drink water every 20 minutes. She took my vitamins and sorted them into the right days. She stood at the bathroom door when I showered. If you feel sick, I'm here. She watched me go to bed and repeated the same thing. Don't close the doors. I want to see that everything is decent. She didn't say it jokingly. She said it like a house rule. When I closed the door, she opened it. She had keys to everything. One night, we braced the door with a chair. At 2 a.m., someone rattled the handle. Then, firm footsteps. The chair was pushed aside, the door opened, and Carol turned on the light. We don't close doors at night. I already said so. I want everything in this house to be clean. I sat clutching the blanket to my chest while she looked at me like a teacher at a schoolgirl in a short skirt. I talked to Jason again. I cried. I hate crying, but I couldn't cope. He hugged me, nodded, said, I'll talk to her, and we'll move. But the next day, we were having dinner all together again, and he listened as his mother told him, fried food is bad, you know, and he nodded. Nodded too much. I saw him shrinking, the boy switching on inside him, new habits appearing that he'd never had, asking his mom if we could go to the movies, clearing a grocery list with her, calling if he was 40 minutes late. That's not a joke, he called. He said, she worries. He always explained everything by her worrying. My friend Molly came over and saw a note on the fridge, written in red marker. Night rules, doors open, no loud noises, decent behavior, wake up at 8. What's that? Molly asked. That's home, I said, and laughed because otherwise I'd scream. Molly dragged me to the park and said, this is boundary abuse. It's not just old school. It's pathological jealousy. I was stubborn. She raised him alone. Molly said a line that stayed with me. That's an explanation, not an excuse. The scariest episode was at week 14. I woke to someone slamming the dresser. Carol stood at my chest of drawers sorting my underwear, slowly, almost tenderly, with her fingertips. I sat up, hands over my belly, and said, please put that back. She didn't turn around. She lifted my black lace and said in a businesslike tone, you won't wear this around my son. You arouse him when you walk around like that, do you hear me? I stood up. He's my husband. I have the right to be attractive to him. She spun and snapped, you have the right to be attractive to him as a wife, not as a temptress. Doors at night. Open. And stop whispering with him in the dark. God sees. My hands shook. I said if she came into our room again without knocking, I would call the police. She laughed. Tell them what? That a mother came to check that everything was decent? Good luck, honey. The next day, my thongs were gone. Just gone. I tore through drawers, baskets, bags, nothing. I didn't say a word. In the evening, I found them in a garbage bag, in the garage, wrapped in paper like something dirty. I took the bag, brought it upstairs, put it on the bed, and when Jason saw me crying over my underwear, he said only, why are you dramatizing this? I'll buy you others. It's not about the underwear, I said. He sank onto the edge of the bed and buried his face in his hands. It's so hard for me between you two. I can't keep choosing sides. We tried family therapy. Once, all 4 of us. The therapist said gently, the roles in this house are mixed up. You need boundaries. Carol started crying thin tears. I lost my husband, raised my son alone, and now they're taking him from me. I only wanted to help. If I look in at night, it's because I'm anxious. The therapist nodded and still repeated the word, boundaries. We left and Carol said, I hope you're happy. You made me a monster to a stranger. That night, she deliberately left all the doors wide open and said loudly in the hallway, there are no secrets in this house. I slept on the couch. At week 18, I had a panic. I woke up alone. Jason had gone to an interview. Carol moved around like a compass needle. I tried to close the bathroom door. She stopped it with her palm. I'll stand here. What if you get dizzy? You can't risk my grandchild. She'd stopped seeing a person in me, only a vessel. She called me at work to ask how much water I'd had, sent lists of safe foods, removed from the fridge anything pregnant women shouldn't have. At some point, I caught myself drinking water not when I wanted, but when her reminder went off, and hating every sip. I argued with Jason's stepfather too, outwardly calmer, diplomatic. He said, she's worried, be patient. When the baby is born, it'll all settle. I looked at him and thought that grown men easily call normal what they've lived with for years. They call the creeping shadow behind them worrying. At week 20, we went for the ultrasound, the one where they show the tiny fingers and profile. It should have been ours. We drove off, just the 2 of us. I even snuck a hand pie into my bag. After the scan, we'll eat it in the park like a movie. In the clinic parking lot, like a bad scene, Carol's car pulled in next to us. She got out, smiled like we'd planned it, and took Jason by the arm. I won't miss the moment I see my little angel's face. I wanted to say no. I looked at my husband. He met my eyes, guilty, tired, and didn't say no. He didn't say anything. In the room, when the baby turned his head, I instinctively took Jason's hand. Carol also took his other hand and pressed him to her chest. You'll be my little daddy boy again, she whispered, just loud enough for me to hear. The doctor did his job, and I felt like I'd been lifted out of my own body. I went into the hallway and cried by the water machine, quietly so no one would hear. After the ultrasound, Carol threw a baby shower without me. She made a board of rules for Mom, for me. It said, no spicy foods, bed by 10 p.m., doors open at night, underwear, cotton, white only. She set it up in the kitchen and called the neighbors. We'll help our Amy be a good wife and mother, she said. I stood there shaking. One neighbor, Mrs. Rivera, looked at me closely and then took off her glasses. Carol, dear, you have a wonderful son and a good daughter-in-law. You must let them close their door. Sometimes a door is love. Carol smiled. In our house, we don't close doors. And at me, the look. Understand? I tried to leave. I looked at apartments, counted the money, thought how to move our things in 2 trips. I prepared a speech for my husband. Either we rent even a tiny studio on the edge of town, or I'm going to Molly's couch. But every time I got to the word either, I saw his face. Tired, guilty, confused. I saw him stand between us, not as a man, but as a little bridge, and I felt sick with myself for excusing him because he's soft. Softness isn't kindness when it's about boundaries. Softness is a burst dam where everything leaks through. One night I heard whispering at the door. I was awake, the baby was kicking, and strangely, that made me stronger. I listened. Carol was speaking to my husband very softly, like lulling him. Do you remember when it was just the 2 of us? I always knew what was best for you. These women come and go, but Mom stays. Now we'll have a baby and we'll be a family for real. My husband tried to answer. His whisper was guilty and short. I lay there thinking that maybe the most honest thing would be to get up, open the door, and say, I'm here, I'm family too. But I didn't get up. I clenched the sheet and counted breaths. A day later, Carol came into my room in the afternoon. There was a basket on the table. Inside, white cotton, proper cut panties, wide bras, a nursing nightgown. On each item, a little note. Approved. Your previous clothes are for unmarried girls, she said evenly, like issuing a medical conclusion. Please don't wear anything that excites my son. He needs to sleep at night. And Amy, the doors, you remember? I took the basket as if it burned my hands and set it in the hallway. She immediately put it back on my nightstand and smiled. I know you're a grateful girl. I started catching myself doing strange things. I tiptoed down the hallway so as not to provoke the silence. I put a hoodie over my house dress if I heard her steps on the stairs. I shifted the bed a centimeter so it wouldn't be visible that we'd been close. I, a grown pregnant woman, hid from another woman in my own home. That word, home, became like a throat with a stuck piece of food. I called my aunt, my mother's sister. I didn't want to burden her, but I said, I don't know what to do. My aunt listened silently, then said, you can love someone and leave a place where your boundaries are being destroyed. Love doesn't obligate you to endure humiliation, and a child is not a reason to stay where you are erased. She cried. I did too. The last straw was the day before yesterday. Jason and I agreed. Today he would talk to his mom firmly. Not ask, but set terms. He said, I know, I have to do it. I love you. I don't want our son to grow up like this. He was decisive. He even kissed my shoulder in the kitchen, like before. Carol came in at that moment. She saw it, froze, then said to him, I whipped you some cream for your coffee. Completely off, like she'd mixed up the script. He drank the coffee, exhaled, and went upstairs to her. I sat downstairs holding a cup, counting seconds. 5 minutes later, they came down together. On his face, no resolve, no anger, emptiness. She held his arm. We have an agreement, Carol said softly. Doors at night remain open. That's not up for discussion. And Amy, please don't wear that underwear anymore. It's a provocation. She smiled. Jason nodded. I don't remember how I got upstairs. I don't remember sitting on the edge of the bed. I don't remember picking up my phone. I only remember a sound, like something cracked. Maybe it was inside me. I love my husband. I remember his hands that evening on the lake. I remember how he held me above him when we laughed on the rug in our old apartment, how he listened to my night shift stories, how he brought me sandwiches to the car when I was afraid to drive after a long shift. I love that him, and I know he can be that. But right now beside me is a man who cannot say, Mom, get out of our bedroom, and doesn't even see why that needs to be said. I love our child. I put my hand on my belly and feel him pushing, reminding me he's there. I want for him a home where a door isn't a sin but a right, where underwear isn't a weapon of control but my own thing, where mom means me, and where grandmother isn't a woman jealous of her son's wife. I know the obvious way out. Pack and leave. I have Molly. I have a little money to rent a tiny studio. I can work nights. I'll survive. I can do it. But when I think leave, I see the face of the man I love, who once was mine and now is his mother's. And inside, I rip in two. I could issue an ultimatum. Either we move out within a week or I go. But I'm afraid he'll choose not me, and that will hurt more than now. I'm afraid of giving birth in this house and losing what's left of myself. I'm afraid of leaving and losing him for good. I'm afraid of staying and teaching my son that women must leave doors open at night so they can be controlled. Sometimes I think I should wait till after the birth, gather documents, and move in one day while he's at work. Sometimes I think I need to talk to his aunt. Carol has a sister, the only person she half listens to. Sometimes I think we need to take everyone back to therapy, and this time not leave the table until it's said, the keys to our room are ours only. But every plan crashes against the habit people on this floor have of pretending everything is done out of love. I'm writing this knowing people will say, leave, boundaries, safety, mother and baby's health first. And I agree with all of that in my head, but my heart won't move my feet. I don't know how to abandon people, especially those who never learned to grow up. I see in Jason a boy who learned to survive the way he was taught, but my child isn't obligated to learn the same. Tonight I locked the door with the slide latch. It's funny because the latch is easy to pop. Carol jiggled the handle. I heard her breathing on the other side of the wood. She stood there, said nothing, and left. I lay and listened to the silence, not the decent kind, but the kind you can breathe in. In the morning she'll talk coldly, clatter cups, carry her basket of proper cut white panties again, and I'll think again, I have no strength. But I'll have that hour when the door was closed, and I survived, and the baby turned as if saying, Mom, you can. I know this sounds like whining. I don't want to be the heroine of sad stories. I want to be a grown woman who says no and goes where her no is heard. I want my husband to remember how he promised to prove every day that I didn't say yes in vain. I want to return to that version of us where he and I are us. Right now, I'm sitting on the floor of our room, back against the closed door, holding my belly and writing this. Because I need an outside perspective. Because I'm stuck in the corridor between his childhood and our future. What should I do? Really, what? Set an ultimatum and move out now while I'm still pregnant. Beg him to go to therapy again, and this time to the end with concrete rules, locks, and keys. Move to Molly's for a month and see whether he chooses me, the adult, or her, the eternal. I love him, but I can't keep living where women are told not to wear their own underwear so as not to excite my son, where the bedroom door isn't yours but shared, where mom isn't about the child but about power. If anyone has had a similar experience, where a husband can't detach from his mother, not because he's bad, but because he doesn't know how, what worked for you? I'm pregnant with our first child. I want him to grow up with his father. But if the father is still a son, how do I protect the two of us?